The night before my big job interview, I spent hours prepping my suit, practicing answers, and trying to calm my nerves. At 2 a.m., my neighbor started blasting his car horn nonstop, shouting into the street. "Wake up, losers!" I begged him through the fence. "Please, I have an interview tomorrow. I need this job." He just laughed. "If you can't handle a little noise, you won't last in the real world anyway." I barely slept. The next morning, I showed up late, flustered, and got rejected. That night, he left a note taped to my door. "Told you. Not everyone is cut out to win." I lived just outside Mesa, Arizona. Not the nice part with palm trees and golf courses. I'm talking about the sun-baked stretch of cracked sidewalks, chain-link fences, and cheap rentals with loud neighbors and broken AC units. I had a one-bedroom duplex. Nothing fancy, just a roof and running water. I lived on the left side. On the right side? That was Chad. Yeah. His real name. Chad. Imagine the most annoying guy you've ever met, then double it. That was him. Shirtless every damn day, even when it rained. Drove a lifted red Dodge Ram that sounded like a tank with asthma. Blasted music at all hours. Always drunk. Always yelling. He sold some kind of muscle powder online, which I'm pretty sure was just ground up caffeine and lies. I stayed away. I had to. I had no money, barely hanging on after getting laid off from a warehouse job months back. But I was clawing out. Slowly. I was working part-time at a print shop, low pay, long hours. On my off time, I sent out applications like a madman. Resumes, cover letters, phone interviews. Then, out of nowhere, I landed a second interview with a logistics firm. Full-time, $48,000 starting, benefits. It was my shot. I hadn't had a real chance like this in years. I spent the entire day before getting ready. Washed and ironed my only suit. Went over every question I thought they'd ask. Practiced in the mirror for hours. Didn't drink coffee. Didn't eat greasy food. Even did deep breathing, like I saw on YouTube. Everything had to be perfect. I went to bed early, around 10:30 p.m. Set my alarm for 6 a.m. The interview was at 8. At 2:03 a.m., I woke up to a sound that didn't make sense at first. A car horn. Long, constant. Like someone was sitting on it. I rolled over, groggy. But it didn't stop. Then came the yelling. "Wake up, losers!" It was Chad. Outside. In the middle of the street, shirtless, of course. Beer in hand, hitting his truck horn over and over again and laughing like it was the funniest thing in the world. I went outside in a t-shirt and jeans, still half asleep. I walked over to the chain-link fence separating our tiny yards. "Chad," I said, "please. I have an interview tomorrow. I really need to sleep." He didn't even look at me right away. He was too busy yelling at the sky and honking. When he finally did look over, he just smiled. "If you can't handle a little noise," he said, "you're not gonna make it in the real world." Then he laughed and went right back to what he was doing. The horn. The shouting. "Wake up, losers!" I stood there for a few seconds, not even angry at first. Just stunned. Then I turned and went back inside, trying to stuff earplugs into my ears and bury my head under the pillow. Didn't matter. I maybe got 2 hours of broken sleep. I felt like a zombie when I woke up. The morning was a blur. I spilled coffee on my tie. I forgot the company's address and had to double back for it. I arrived late. I walked in sweating, suit wrinkled from the car seatbelt. My brain just collapsed. I blanked out on the first question. Got through 2 more before the hiring manager smiled, that polite smile that means it's over. "You seem overwhelmed," she said gently. I nodded. "Yeah. Sorry. I didn't sleep." She nodded back. That was the end. I didn't even get a call. Just an email a few hours later. "Thank you for your interest, but we've decided to move forward with other candidates." I got home around 3 p.m. I sat on the couch. I didn't even cry. I was just empty. At 5 p.m., I went out to check the mail. There was a note taped to my front door with duct tape. Told you. Not everyone is cut out to win. Chad. I read it 3 times. I didn't get mad. I didn't yell. I just stood there in the desert sun, staring at that note like it was a warning from the universe. Then something inside me went cold. I took the note off, folded it, and slid it into the drawer next to my bed. I didn't sleep that night either. But not because of noise. Because I was planning. I didn't sleep that night, but this time it wasn't because of Chad. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, going over every moment from the past 24 hours. Every second of that horn. Every word of that note. Something clicked inside me. A hard click. Like a switch. I didn't want to fight him. That would have been easy for him. He'd yell, maybe throw a punch, and then play victim when the cops showed up. I wanted something different. I wanted slow. Chad wasn't just a jerk. He was reckless. And reckless people leave cracks. I just had to find them. The first thing I did was start watching him. Not in a creepy way, just paying attention. Every night after 9 p.m., he got drunk. Like clockwork. You could hear the bottles clinking when he tossed them in the recycling bin. Fridays were louder than usual. Saturdays, even worse. He had friends come over a lot. Loud guys. You'd hear them talking about orders and customers. Chad bragged a lot. Talked about how much money he made selling his muscle fuel online. I did some digging. Not much. Just followed the trail. He had a website. Cheap looking. Bad design. No real contact info. Just a form and some Venmo links. No license numbers. No ingredients list. No disclaimers. It was sketchy. I started collecting everything. Screenshots of his site. Photos of him loading tubs into the back of his truck. Recordings of his parties, where he mentioned shipping extra strong versions to certain people. All public stuff. All stuff I could prove. Then I made an anonymous tip to the Arizona Department of Health Services. A week later, a plain white car showed up. 2 guys in button-down shirts. They knocked on Chad's door, clipboard in hand. I watched from my window. Chad looked confused. Then angry. Then a little worried. They were there for about 20 minutes. Took some photos. Asked questions. 2 days after that, the site went offline. I thought that would be enough. But Chad didn't stop. He started selling on Instagram instead. DMs and Cash App and parking lot meetups. I was ready this time. I borrowed a friend's phone. Made a burner Instagram. Pretended to be a customer. I bought 1 tub. Met Chad in a Walmart parking lot. Paid cash. Got a handwritten label with nothing but Max Fuel 3000 scribbled on it. Then I sent it straight to the FDA. A week later, the same white car came back. This time, they brought boxes. And gloves. They shut him down. He still didn't know it was me. But now he was nervous. You could see it in the way he looked around when he left the house. Like the world had turned on him. He started drinking more. Yelling more. Then he did something stupid. 2 weeks after his Instagram hustle got shut down, Chad snapped. It started small. He'd pace outside at night, mumbling to himself. Kicked over his own trash cans. Screamed at his truck when it wouldn't start. He was unraveling. Then he did something really dumb. He broke into my side of the duplex. I came home from the print shop one evening to find my front door cracked open. The lock was busted. Inside, everything was upside down. Couch cushions ripped. Kitchen drawers open. My laptop was gone. My cheap TV too. The place looked like a tornado hit it. At first, I thought it was a random break-in. I called the cops, filed a report, gave them the little info I had. But then I saw it. In the middle of my kitchen table, just sitting there like it wanted to be seen, was a tub of Chad's Max Fuel 3000. Same scribbled label. He was sending a message. The cops didn't do much. They looked around, asked if I had any enemies. I didn't say a word about Chad. I nodded like I didn't know who it could be. They took the report and left. That night, I didn't sleep again. I sat on the floor of my wrecked living room, holding that tub of powder in my hand, and started planning the second half. I wanted to hurt more than just his wallet. I wanted to hit his pride. See, Chad lived online. He bragged on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, anywhere he could talk about his gains, his truck, his haters. He called himself at Desert Alpha on most of them. I created another burner account, one that followed him on every platform. I started replying to his posts. Harmless stuff at first. Are those real reviews? Why doesn't your site have any legal info? Why do your products have no label? Then I posted the inspection photos. The official-looking papers. His angry rants from his Instagram lives. Screenshots of customers complaining they didn't get what they paid for. I didn't even have to lie. I just organized what was already out there. And it worked. People started questioning him in the comments. Some of them used to be fans. But now they were asking things like, "Is this why your site's gone? Why did the FDA show up at your place? Did you really break into someone's house?" He tried to fight back. He blocked accounts, deleted comments, posted long rants about haters and weak people trying to ruin alphas. But it was too late. His followers dropped. Sponsors backed out. His fitness supplement thing was circling the drain. And then, one night, I got home and saw blue lights flashing across our street. Chad's truck was gone. So was Chad. I walked over to the fence where it had all started. A new neighbor was already moving in. "What happened to the guy who lived there?" I asked. The woman shrugged. "Evicted. Cops showed up 3 nights ago. Landlord tossed everything." I smiled and said, "Huh. Didn't see that coming." But I had. I saw every step of it. I thought it would feel better. When the landlord finally kicked Chad out, I expected to feel something: peace, joy, relief. But I didn't. I just felt empty. The house next door stayed empty for a few weeks. Quiet, just the wind and the hum of the desert bugs. I slept better. I ate better. I got my laptop replaced with insurance. Even started getting interviews again. But every time I walked by that old chain-link fence, I felt it again. Not peace. Just that note. Told you. Not everyone is cut out to win. It stuck in my chest like a nail. Then, one night I ran into someone who knew Chad. I was grabbing groceries late, and I heard someone say his name. It was one of his party friends, Trevor or Travis, I forget. He was on the phone, pacing outside the gas station. "Yeah, man, he's living with his cousin in Chandler now. Got nothing. Truck's gone. Phone shut off. Said someone ruined his life. No idea who." I didn't say a word. Just walked past. But inside, something turned. That night, I pulled out the note again. The one Chad had taped to my door. The one that started it all. And I read it one last time. "Told you. Not everyone is cut out to win." Only now I realized something. He wasn't wrong. Not everyone is cut out to win. Including me. Because while I got my revenge, perfect, clean, and brutal, I'd also turned into something I didn't like. I stopped focusing on building my future. I spent all that time tearing someone else's life down. Yeah, Chad was awful. He deserved consequences. But I didn't have to become worse than him to get them. That hit me hard. So I started over again. I deleted the burner accounts. Tossed the folder of screenshots. Burned that note in a metal bowl outside, watched it turn to ash. I stopped trying to be the guy who won. I just started trying to be decent again. It took another few months, but I finally got hired at a different logistics firm. Smaller company. Lower pay. But honest work. I show up on time. I sleep at night. I even nod to the new neighbor when we pass each other. Sometimes I wonder what happened to Chad. If he ever figured out it was me. If he ever really learned anything. But mostly, I wonder about myself. About how far I would have gone if he hadn't gotten evicted when he did. That scares me more than anything. Revenge felt good for a while. But the truth is, it almost broke me too. And that's the part no one talks about.